The fluorescent lights in the archives room don't hum. They buzz with a high-pitched, metallic frequency that vibrates in the back of my teeth. It is 2:14 a.m. The air in the basement smells of ozone, old toner, and the faint, sweet scent of rot that comes from damp paper stored in a windowless room. On the industrial metal table sits a half-eaten carton of yogurt, the plastic spoon still standing upright in the thickening cream. It's been there since 6 p.m. The surface of the yogurt has developed a thin, yellowish skin. Across from me, Marcus is leaning against a stack of banker boxes. He hasn't taken his jacket off, despite the heat of the server racks in the corner. His tie is loosened just enough to show the hollow of his throat. He holds a single sheet of paper, the NDA, between two fingers, waving it slightly as he speaks. The motion is rhythmic, like a metronome. He tells me that the firm values discretionary intelligence above all else. He says it's a rare trait in someone so young, especially in an intern who hasn't even finished her JD. He calls the $50,000 a retention incentive. He says it's a way to ensure that my brilliance stays within these four walls. I look at the yogurt. I look at the spoon. I think about the fact that $50,000 is exactly twice my father's annual pension. He asks me if I've ever seen a structure that was built to fail, not because of a flaw in the design, he clarifies, but because the architect wanted to see how much weight it could hold before the first crack appeared. He says that people are no different. Most people crack at 10,000. Some crack at 30. He tells me that he's impressed I haven't signed yet. He says it shows I have a high load-bearing capacity. His voice is calm. It is the voice of a man explaining a simple math problem to a child. I reach for the ledger. It's an old-fashioned physical backup, the kind they keep down here because nobody thinks to hack a basement. I found the entry at 11:30 p.m. It wasn't a body in the literal sense, it was a ghost. A series of offshore transfers, labeled as consulting fees, that coincide perfectly with the dates the environmental reports for the Riverdale project were suppressed. Thousands of lives, condensed into a few columns of black ink. Marcus follows my eyes to the ledger. He doesn't move to close it. He doesn't look panicked. He just shifts his weight, the leather of his holster creaking under his arm, a sound so mundane I almost miss its significance. He tells me that the world is built on compromises that people like me aren't supposed to see. He says that the $50,000 isn't for my silence on the ledger. He says the ledger doesn't matter. The ledger is just paper. The money, he says, is for the privilege of being the kind of person who knows what's in the ledger and chooses to buy a new car anyway. He walks around the table. The basement floor is polished concrete, gray and cold. His footsteps make a dull, heavy sound. He stops when he's standing directly behind my chair. He doesn't touch me, he just stands there, his presence a physical weight on the back of my neck. He says that he sees himself in me, the ambition, the hunger, the way I didn't cry when I realized what the numbers meant. I should stand up, I should take my bag and walk to the elevator. The security guard at the desk, a man named Leo, who always asks about my classes, would let me out. I could go to the DA, I could be a hero. Marcus leans down, his face inches from mine. I can smell the peppermint on his breath and the expensive woodsy scent of his cologne. He tells me that if I leave now, I leave with nothing. The mistake I made on the filing last week, the one he told me not to worry about, is already in the system. If I walk out that door, that mistake becomes a felony. He says he'd hate to see such a promising career end before it started because of a clerical error. But if I sign, the error disappears. The 50,000 hits my account by morning, and more importantly, I stay. I become part of the inner circle, the ones who decide which buildings stay standing and which ones burn. I look at the door. It's a heavy steel fire door with a push bar. It isn't locked. I can see the green exit sign glowing in the dark hallway beyond. It looks like a mirage. I think about the weight of the pen in Marcus's pocket. I think about my mother's house, the one with the sagging porch and the predatory interest rate. He tells me that the exit is always there. He says he won't stop me. He even steps back, giving me a clear path to the door. He says he'll even give me a head start. 5 minutes. I stand up. My knees feel like they're made of glass. I take one step toward the door, then another. I reach for the handle of my bag. Marcus doesn't move. He just watches me with a look of mild academic interest. He says that the tragedy of the hero is that they always forget about the aftermath. He asks me who I think the DA reports to. He asks me who owns the bank where my mother's mortgage is held. I stop. My hand is on the cold metal of the door's push bar. If I push this bar, I am a girl from the South Side with a clerical error on her record and a powerful enemy. If I turn around, I am a partner in training with a $50,000 secret. The silence in the basement is absolute. The yogurt spoon falls over, clattering against the side of the plastic cup. The sound is deafening. I look back at him. He's holding the pen out. It's a heavy gold-plated thing. He says that the most dangerous thing in the world isn't a man with a gun. It's a woman who knows exactly what she's worth and refuses to settle for less. He says he's offering me the world. All I have to do is acknowledge that I'm already part of it. I think about the consulting fees. I think about the families in Riverdale. I think about the way the light hits the gold on the pen. I realize that the door didn't need a lock. The lock is in the 50,000. The lock is in the retention incentive. The moment I understood the ledger, the world I lived in before, the one with heroes and villains, ceased to exist. There is only the machine and the people who keep it running. I walk back to the table. I don't look at the ledger. I look at Marcus. He smiles. It's a small, private smile, the kind you share with an old friend. He says he knew I was an architect. He says the view from the top is much better when you have someone to share it with. I take the pen. The metal is warm from his hand. I pull the NDA toward me. The paper is crisp and white. The ink of the clauses a deep, authoritative blue. I sign my name. I watch the ink dry, turning from a wet sheen to a flat, permanent mark. Marcus takes the paper as soon as I'm done. He doesn't say anything else. He just folds it neatly and tucks it into his inside pocket, right next to his heart. He walks to the elevator and presses the button. The bell dings. The doors slide open. He holds the door for me. He says we should go get breakfast. He knows a place that has the best eggs Benedict in the city, a place where the waiters don't ask questions and the coffee is always hot. I step into the elevator. The doors close, sealing us in a small mirrored box. I look at my reflection. I don't look pinched anymore. I look focused. I look like someone who just made a very smart investment. As the elevator rises, Marcus reaches over and adjusts my collar. He says that from now on I don't have to worry about the basement. I belong in the sunlight. I nod. I find myself wondering if the yogurt is still on the table or if someone will come by and throw it away. I wonder if it matters. I think about the 50,000. I think about the signature. I think about the fact that for the first time in my life, I don't feel like an intern. I feel like a predator. The elevator reaches the lobby. The doors open to the marble and glass of the main floor. The security guard, Leo, looks up and smiles. He asks if we're finally calling it a night. Marcus puts a hand on my shoulder, a firm paternal weight. He tells Leo that we're just getting started. I smile at Leo. It's a perfect, practiced smile. It's the smile of a woman who knows exactly where she is going. We walk out into the cool morning air. The sun is just starting to bleed over the horizon, turning the skyscrapers into jagged teeth of gold and shadow. I feel the weight of the secret in my chest, a cold, hard stone that I will carry for the rest of my life. It feels like power. Marcus hails a cab. He holds the door for me, his eyes never leaving mine. He says that the first 50 is always the hardest. After that, the numbers just become a way of keeping score. I get into the car. The leather is soft and smells of newness. As the cab pulls away from the curb, I look back at the building. It looks different now. It doesn't look like a fortress. It looks like a playground. I realize that I never actually asked what the consulting fees were for. I realize that I don't want to know. I have the 50,000. I have the retention. I have the view. I look at Marcus, who is checking his watch. He looks satisfied. He looks like a man who just completed a very difficult project. I lean back into the seat and close my eyes. The high-pitched buzzing in my teeth is gone. In its place is a low, steady thrum, the sound of the machine humming to life. And for the first time, I am not a component. I am the electricity. I find myself wondering if my mother will like the new house. I find myself wondering if I should buy a blue car or a black one. I find myself wondering how long it will take for the next discretionary bonus to arrive. I am not afraid. I am not ashamed. I am just hungry. And Marcus is right. The view from here is spectacular. I think about the failure point. I think about the moment the pen touched the paper. I think about the fact that I didn't even hesitate. I wasn't caught in a trap. I was welcomed home. The cab turns a corner, and the building disappears from view. I am 23 years old. I have $50,000 in the bank, and I am a monster. I've never felt more alive. I ask Marcus if he thinks the restaurant will be crowded. He laughs, a soft, genuine sound. He says that for us, there's always a table. I believe him. I have to. Because the alternative is the basement, and the basement is for people who still believe in ghosts. I am an architect now, and architects don't believe in ghosts. They believe in foundations. I look at my hands. They are steady. They are the hands of someone who can hold a lot of weight. I am ready for the next crack. I am ready for the whole building to fall, as long as I am the one standing on the rubble. Marcus reaches over and takes my hand. He doesn't squeeze it. He just holds it. A silent acknowledgement of our new partnership. I don't pull away. I hold on. The city rushes past us, a blur of light and speed. We are moving up. We are moving fast, and we are never ever going back down. I think about the families in Riverdale one last time. I think about the water they are drinking, and then like a candle being blown out, the thought is gone. There is only the peppermint on Marcus's breath and the $50,000 waiting for me in the morning. There is only the view, and the view is perfect.